All right, what is up guys? JaretCampisi, welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna be taking a look at the all-new 2025 Ducati Panigale V2. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. All right, so before we jump into all the tech specs and things regarding this bike, and I wanna start off by saying I do think it's a really cool bike. I think Ducati made a critical error with calling this bike a Panigale V2 because then we're comparing it to the previous Panigale V2. And here's why that matters. The price of this bike is slightly more than the previous generation. It has 37 less horsepower and it doesn't have a single-sided swing arm. So if they would have just called this something else and we weren't comparing it to the Panigale V2, I think it would be a much easier sell for Ducati to come out with this all-new bike, because it really is an all-new bike, including the engine. I think that was a big miss on their part, because aside from that, I think it is a really cool bike, and I actually prefer this over even the new Panigale V4. So let's get into what the bike is. So why are all these manufacturers coming out with these new bikes? We've got the R9 coming out, the new KTM Super Sport bike that came out, and of course the new redesigned Panigale V2. It's to compete in the racing series. So that's why when they used to have to use the V2, the previous V2, that was 157 horsepower and 959 cc's, they had to detune that bike to race in those racing series. So they wanted to just say, you know what, let's just make a bike specifically for those racing series, and that's what this is. So let's go over the Panigale V2. Highlights of the bike. 18,899, something like that in the S form, which they do have an S form, which is awesome. And they have a base form as well. Let's see if we can find the price of the base form. Should be right here. Okay, so S 18,995, which is I think a couple $100 more than the previous base model. And then we do have a base, which is 15,995, okay? So let's go over all of the tech specs for this bike. So it's the lightest Panigale of all time. Right there, that's a great selling point right there, okay? 37 pounds less than the previous model. That's crazy because not only is it 37 pounds less, it's also 37 less horsepower, okay? I've actually been asking for Ducati to do like a starter sport bike for a long time now, something to compete with like the Aprilia RS660s, even like the Yamaha R3s and old R6s, and that's kind of what this is. Now it doesn't really, the RS660 has a lot less horsepower and more in the 90 range, and R3 is a lot less than that even. But I think this is kind of starting to slot in that area, and I'll tell you why later on here. So let's first go over some overviews. All new engine, they completely redid the V2 engine, it's completely new. And then the whole bike itself is all new as well, all new design. You can go down and look through these. I'm just trying to find some good stuff to start here. Okay, let's just do this. Let's look at the tech specs. So, does it tell me? Okay, so brand new 5-inch full TFT dashboard, which is really cool, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. Thermal comfort, look at that. They're listening to us, guys. Greater thermal comfort than the previous version thanks to passive ventilation ducts designed to optimize airflow and reduce heat during riding. That's huge. It's something I've been asking them to do for a very long time. The brakes, it comes with the Brembo M50 calipers, which I think were in the previous model as well. They've always been sufficient for the bike. And then there's the whole new thing, the all new V2 engine. So trademark of the Ducati twins, the V2 is equipped with an innovative electric variable timing system, which is really cool because that's going to give you torque all throughout the rev range. And then homologated, anytime you see the word homologated, that means it has something to do with racing. So it's an 890 cc displacement, and it weighs just 119 pounds, making it the lightest twin cylinder ever produced out of Ducati. So that's really cool. Number 3, adjustable suspension. That's great. Marizaki fork. This is the non-S model, I believe, because I think the S model gets Öhlins suspension, but I'm not positive. Oh, the S does get the Öhlins, sorry. Yeah. So Marizaki with the non-S, the S gets the Öhlins. That's cool. And then let's come down here. So power, 120 horsepower. You can see the power curve right here. It looks really nice. And that's at 10,750 RPM. I wonder what it redlines at. Looks like just under 12,000. That's pretty high, 11,700 something around there. Torque, 69 foot-pounds at 8,000 RPM, so that's good. Wet weight without fuel is 395 pounds. If you add, this is probably 4.5 gallon gas tank, so you got to probably add 40 pounds to that with a tank, full tank of fuel, which is still pretty good. 430 pounds ish is pretty good. And then you get the maintenance service intervals, 9,000 miles, so basically change your oil once a year, which is pretty nice. There's stuff all about the engine. We'll get to that in a second. Here's the new dashboard. Look at that. That looks really nice. So it's a full 5-inch TFT display, and it looks like it has, let's see, go through its thing here. So that's like start up right there. You see the Panigale V2S, and then it has different riding modes. Look at that gas gauge up there. Got your gear indicator, air, that's air temperature, ambient air. Oh yeah, so it looks like a little over 10,000 is where the red line is set on there. You got your time on there. Oh, okay, cool. When there's different actual like modes, look at that. You see power and torque. That's funny because this is taken from Audi. My Audi has those exact same things. Of course, Ducati's owned by Audi now. But yeah, it looks really cool. You got all your different rider aids over here. Look, and they even blink when they're going off. So traction control, engine braking, wheelie control, ABS. Very nice layout. And obviously you can change how it looks. This is for track timing, so you can have your session right there, your lap time and stuff like that. Your big gear indicator, you can see what gear you're in. That's a really cool looking dash right there. Actually, let's see this. What else does it have? Info mode. Oh, that's okay. So this is the road layout. Here's Info Mode Pro, and then you have Info Mode Track. So it looks like 3 different settings, all very nice. Yeah, that's really cool that they did that. And then look at all these electronic riding aid systems. Holy crap. You've got ABS cornering and slide by brake. That's crazy. Oh wait, ABS slide by brake. Cornering and ABS slide by brake, okay. Cruise control, first time ever, I believe, on a Panigale. Brake Light Evo, I'm not sure what that is. Ducati Brake Light Evo, not sure what that means. Ducati Data Analyzer, that's really cool. Lap timer, GPS. Multimedia system. I think this might be able to do turn-by-turn navigation. I'm not positive though. Power launch control on a Panigale, which I think is the first time ever. Quick shifter, which is great, up and down. Daytime running lights. Ducati traction control. Ducati wheelie control. Engine brake control. Ride-by-wire system, and then turn-by-turn navigation. So it does have that. That's really impressive. They've added a lot of electronic features into this bike, which is really cool. So the advanced electronics package on the Panigale V2 guarantees unmatched enjoyment, blah, 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 blah. So you can go through and read all this stuff. I'm not gonna like read it out loud. Let's go to the design of the bike. Actually, this is, okay, yeah, this will work. So basically they're using the V4 as inspiration to design the V2. One thing I like about the V2, I honestly think the V2 actually looks better than the V4, the new V4. It has no winglets, it's sleeker, it's smaller, it's lighter. Look at that, I mean, it looks really good. Let's see, can I do design inspired? Yeah, so design inspired by the V4, new shapes, new ergonomic tank. There's so much stuff on here, and I'll just encourage you guys to go on here and read it because I want this to be a little bit of information, but a lot of my opinion on everything. Greater thermal comfort, that's always good. There's the ergonomic revolution or redesign from scratch. So basically they want this to be more comfortable, not only effective on the track, but more comfortable on the street. So I think that's a great way to approach it. And I want to see, can I look over here? There's all the fairings. Jeez Louise. Where can I just like click on some photos, dude? What's this? Customization, we'll get to that in a second. Configure. Yeah, like this is a really good shot right here. Can I zoom in on this? And then now highlight it. Okay, there we go. So I do think that this double-sided swing arm looks better than the Panigale V4 double-sided swing arm. It just looks cooler the way it comes up and then slopes down. I think that looks really nice. The bike is thinner than the V4 is, and again, it doesn't have any winglets or anything like that. So to me, this looks cleaner. I love the undertail exhaust, and if you notice, Termi is actually the company that does the exhaust for these, the aftermarket exhaust that's sold through Ducati, so like the Ducati Performance exhaust, and it looks really good. I will say the Termi exhaust, when you put that on there, I think it's $3,300. It's not a full system, but it does get rid of the catalytic converter, I believe. You can see like the pipes down at the bottom, which is a throwback to the previous generation as well. So, I mean, it's a good looking bike. I think it's really cool. I could see it being a tough sell for Ducati just because of the price point and the fact that they called it a Panigale V2 again, when in fact, it's, again, more expensive, less power, doesn't have a single-sided swing arm. So I think that it's going to be a tough sell in that regard, but I do think it's a step up from the other bike as far as just electronics and probably like handling and things. I'd be curious to know what the lap times are versus the old one. I'm sure they're slower just because it's down on horsepower. But for me personally, I have, as I've been getting older and as I've ridden more, I have been enjoying lower horsepower bikes a lot more. So things like the new Panigale that's 220 horsepower appeal to me a lot less, because I don't want to do that kind of crazy racing stuff on the street. I'd rather just have a bike that I can get on and use the full spread of the engine and have fun with it and not be like doing triple the speed limits. So this bike appeals to me probably more than the V2 or the V4 would. And I'd be curious if you guys, I would like to do a build series on one of these. I think that'd be really cool. It's a brand new design, brand new engine, all the new electronics, the new exhaust. I think it'll be like really cool to see how it compares to the previous generation and how it compares to all these new bikes that are coming out, the R9, the new KTM sport bike. So I think that would be really cool. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think that it looks really good. Oh, here's a test. Let's see what it did. The new Panigale V2 lapped with very similar times to the previous model. So when they say similar, that means it was slower, because if it was faster, they would tell us that it was faster, which makes sense. It has less power, that's fine. Easy and intuitive. So yeah, they're trying to make it easier. Oh, okay, so yeah, here you go. Total, both bikes equipped with slicks and steering damper. Yeah, so it was only 0.2 seconds slower than the previous. So that's pretty good. They were able to keep it that close. And then here's some more shots of the bike being ridden. I think the new headlights look good. I'm not crazy about that. Like when you delete the mirrors, look at these big pieces right here. I don't think that looks super good. This is also kind of weird. I'm guessing this is maybe a spot you could put winglets. Maybe that's why they did that. I'm not sure. Can I go on to the next one? Okay, here we go. Yeah, I mean, it looks really good. I like that front end a lot. The Panigale V2 has always been one of my favorites as far as looks wise go. I love the exhaust coming up under the tail section like that. And I think these rear tail lights look really good. It's very similar to the Panigale V4. Yeah, I mean, it's a shame that it doesn't have a single-sided swing arm. For me, that's a really big part of the Ducati experience and what really sets them apart from every other manufacturer. But still, so yeah, redesigned ergonomic triangle. They're trying to make it the position of the clip-ons ensures, yeah, so it still has clip-ons, but they're, I guess, as high as they could make them. So the rider triangle, so you're not so bent over, which is good for riding on the street. And overall, I think it's actually a cool bike. And like I said, I think the big mistake that they made was the marketing. They shouldn't have called it a Panigale V2 in my opinion, because everybody's gonna compare it to the previous model. And if it has less power and costs more and doesn't have the single-sided swing arm, I think that I think it's gonna be a tough sell. If you see a previous generation sitting on the floor and you see this one, I don't know why you would buy this one over the previous generation, unless you just wanted the newest bike. But you guys let me know what you think. I think it's still a cool bike. It definitely appeals to me. I would love to do a build series and a giveaway on one. So you guys will have to let me know if that's something you'd like to see on the channel. And again, let me know all your thoughts and feelings in the comment section below. What do you think of the new bike? Do you think Ducati got it right? And what do you think of the direction Ducati's heading in general? Because the new V2 Street Fighter also does not have a single-sided swing arm, which is kind of odd to me considering that bike's not used in any racing series. So there was really no reason, I guess, because they're just using the other bike as a basis. This kind of looks like an old monster, like a monster to me, like the older generation monster. Maybe I could do a whole video on just this one as well, but $17.99 or $14.99 depending on the S versus the non-S. I actually think it looks pretty cool. I would rather prefer the the V4 Street Fighter, I think, because it's still pretty easy to ride. So this would be more for like somebody who's maybe a beginner, because let's see, 120 horsepower. Yeah, so it's the same engine, same. I think it's pretty much they pulled all the same stuff off. But like that's a good looking shot of the bike. Like I think that looks pretty cool, and you can see the exhaust down underneath, which is cool. So when you put a full system on there, you can see like the bluing of the pipes and stuff. I don't know why they did this big silver part right here. Just make it black. I think that would look a lot better. Perhaps they probably sell something that makes it black, a Ducati performance part, to help maybe make some more money. But I do think that in black would have looked a lot better. But overall, I mean, it's basically the V2 but just naked, which is fine. I personally, styling wise, prefer both the previous generations. But I'm a sucker for single-sided swing arms, so that's probably why. But I'm sure these from a technology standpoint are probably better than the previous generations. But again, you'll have to let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. So if you enjoyed the video, give the video a big old juicy thumbs up. Don't forget about the giveaways. We're currently giving away an MV Agusta Brutale 1000 RR and a Ducati Diavol that's currently getting custom painted in Estonia by Kick-Ass Tuning. If you want to be entered to win those bikes, patreon.com/Campisi Custom. That's always the first link in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, give the big old juicy thumbs up, subscribe for more. We'll see you in the next one.